I don't know what that means. Hi, I'm Bob Doyle, one of the featured teachers from the film and book, The Secret. And if you saw The Matrix, you're familiar with the whole concept that is, and if you didn't, spoiler alert, big time. You're familiar with the whole concept that we as human beings are just sort of a battery, a power source. We facilitate the running of a much bigger scenario that other intelligences are in charge of, right? That's the general concept. And there's been countless comparisons between real life and then the fictional scenario set forth in that film some time ago. Let's look at it a little bit differently about how we are something like that. Most of the population of the planet is running on some form of autopilot. In other words, we've learned everything we've learned. We've had all the experiences we've had in our life. Our brain has been wired in a particular way. We have created a version of our truth based on the input mostly of other people, right? The first 7 years of our life, that's when the fundamentals came in. And we just sort of took on the belief systems and all of that of whoever was around us, our parents or whatever. So if we did not correct that consciously, if there were limiting things in there, if we don't correct that consciously, if we don't recognize that, hey, this is just programming, then that means we will make all of our decisions based on that programming that someone else put in us. And then our resulting experience of reality will be as a result of the choices we made because of our autopilot wiring. So we are, in fact, infused with other people's agenda, vision for what's true in the planet, what's appropriate for you, where you want, all of these things. We are infused with those things. We can't help it. Our brain is wide open and it's just saying yes to everything. And so to some extent, all of our decisions for the rest of our lives are in some way some sort of manifestation of somebody else's agenda, unless we wake up. And that is what I try to help people do. Now, you're not going to wake up in a big pool of gelatinous stuff with cords sticking out of you, so just relax. But basically, you can start to see how your autopilot wiring has perhaps limited some of the things that you can accomplish in your life, because you have stories about why you can't, versions of truth about what's possible, all of these stories. And again, most of these were put in initially by somebody else. So if you don't want to live a life that is the result of somebody else's basically installing of the programs in you, the initial programs, then it behooves you greatly to learn to wake up and realize when you're on autopilot and make different choices if you want to create an outcome that you really, really want. So if the experience of life that you're running, mostly on autopilot, is not serving you, if it's not bringing you joy, if you don't feel a sense of purpose and passion, it may be because you're running other people's programs to an extent. So what if you could wake up and see what the programs were, say, nah, that's not a good one. Realize that your brain is ready to change. That's what neuroplasticity is all about. And all you have to do is know how you want it changed and then what to do to make it change. And that's what these trainings that I do each week are for. And we have one coming up this morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. What is that? Just about 2 hours from now. So you can still register for free at this URL here and get in on that training. If this morning's training doesn't work, you have 2 other dates to choose from. We always try and have 3 actively open and available. These are live trainings. I will be there. We'll be there answering your questions, etc. And we'll talk about this concept and many other things. So if in any way you feel like perhaps you'd like a little bit more control over what's going on out here, and you can resonate at least a little bit with this concept that, well, maybe I do make some choices on autopilot. Maybe I don't always stop, be conscious, and go, what's really true here, or what would I like to be true here, and act out of that. So if you'd like to kind of take on that skill set to sort of wake up and see life a little bit more clearly and give yourself way more choices, then join us for this training. I actually hope to see you in a couple of hours from now. Talk to you then.